This is great.
So
It's instant. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat room.
yeah, come over here and mute that.
Yeah, we have a stream element bot running. What that stuff does, he just chat rooms and he makes a copy for us and tells us what's going on.
Gotcha.
Which is cool. Oh.
So how do we make an announcement on Discord?
It does that automatically. It's already connected, or you can
okay,
share a link.
Oh, yep, there it goes.
Yeah,
I just saw it.
Yeah, it comes up on his own. Yeah.
Cool.
Everyone, Darth Vader, he's hosting the show.
Hi, everybody.
It's fun. It's so fun. I love it more when it doesn't work.
Technical difficulties and first time with me sitting in the driver's seat, so bear with me.
Yeah. We're going to have fun tonight because we have a good one tonight, right?
Oh, yeah. We got a record executive exposes the rap industry after Takeoff's death.
Well,
that's going to be interesting to hear about. Then we got angry cops talking about how drill sergeants are no longer allowed to scream at the recruits.
That one.
So, one more time, they get another arm tied behind their backs. And then we got JP, good old JP, back on the channel again with midterm election propaganda.
We just can't get enough of JP, can we?
We love our JP.
Yes, we do.
And then we have The View, which I don't know why we torture ourselves with this, but we do for your entertainment. Anne Hathaway has a view on abortion that seems to be a bit of a spicy take, so we'll see what that turns out to be. And then we have the truth about record labels, how record deals really work. And last but not least, Californians Move to Texas, episode 4. The gun rage.
I'm excited for.
So, I don't know about y'all, but it sounds like a fun lineup. I'm ready to get started when you are. Are you ready?
I am ready to go. Let me turn my camera. Let me turn my camera on. And... Darth Vader.
So we'll get
tonight.
Well, yeah, I'm in the driver's seat tonight, so bear with me. This is gonna be something else.
You're doing just fine.
All right, here we go. Record executive exposes rap industry after Takeoff's death.
Died. I just wanted to go ahead and make a video about something I have a unique experience in. So I directed a bunch of rappers, people like Gucci Mane, Snoop Dogg, Lil Yachty, the list goes on and on and on, okay? I learned a lot of things, and I have left the industry largely over my political beliefs, but there is something I want to impart to people to hopefully, make some sort of change happen. So I have a challenge to rappers, and I know some of you still follow me. I know a bunch of the celebrity blogs still follow me from trying to get news from music videos and things like that. So here's the truth. The truth is this: a bunch of young black male rappers keep dying. You know who's not dying? Record executives. The record executives that push for them to continue to make songs and create a culture that is obsessed with death, drugs, and sex. Period. The industry's obsessed with it, but those record executives, they're not dying because they don't push this culture on their own people, but they're encouraging you to push it on yours, and they're paying you handsomely to do it. The reality is, I know a lot of you. A lot of you are good people. You're family guys. You're not the image that you put out there to the world. Why? Why don't you be the example? Stand up. I challenge you. Be the example. Make music about the culture you want to see. Don't just get online today and talk about how, whenever a rapper makes it, his own people take him down. Don't just make those videos. Don't be sad. Don't rest in peace. None of that stuff. Be the change you want to see. Inspire it in your community. Reach out to other rappers and say, we have to stop. We're being used. You've been used for a long time. They create this parody.
Do you have something you wanted to say about that?
I was gonna keep listening, but since you paused, this is exactly true. And I think very few rappers, because again, the money is good for them. But let's be honest, he's like lying. He's telling you everything. I've been talking about some of this stuff on the channel. Is that the and the black community who are buying those that are consuming it, we need to take a good mirror and asking ourselves, like, oh, there is a serious problem here in this culture, and own up to it.
It's almost as if they're like the equivalent of selling drugs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different medium of selling drugs to the black culture.
And we buy it hook, line, and we spread that stuff our community, and then we so the same rappers that are making the music out of the hands of their fans. We have to think about that and ask the big question, man. What are we gonna do different?
Yeah. He's speaking a lot of truth. All right.
And those videos don't get a lot of views.
No, and that's the sad part.
Mm-hmm.
Like people like Tom
That's why
McDonald.
we are, because yeah, they want views. Unless we bring people.
All right, let's continue.
All right. Let's do it.
Paradigm to make you believe that you're so important and your celebrity status is worth so much, but in truth, you're a pawn in their game and you always have been. The government has wanted to hold down communities of people in different ways through different methods for a very long time. Their method in the black community has been to use entertainment to create a culture obsessed with death, drugs, sex, and money, so that they could create a false paradigm of what happiness and what success really was. And in doing so, they created a world that also made people more dependent on government, and as a result, gave themselves more power. The record executives that push you to do this, to go and continue to profit off the backs of your work, they're in cahoots with the elite. They're in cahoots with the government. They want you to think you're important, but in truth, you're just doing their dirty work for them, so stop. They've empowered you in ways that are real, You have an audience, you have platforms, you have the ability to make change. So go against the grain together. They're more afraid of you all together standing up and creating a new culture that's built around family, faith, freedom, doing the right thing, valuing life, than they are of anything else. So I challenge you, use your power to do the right things. If you continue to do the same thing you've done, more rappers like this are going to die. How many have to die before you change the culture? And let me tell you something else. There's a reason the record labels pay us more to do rap videos. They don't tell you that, do they? Do they?
No sound? How far back was there no sound? Can anybody tell me if they're hearing what the video is saying?
Are you able to hear me? Because I'm not hearing you still.
Now I hear you.
You can?
Can you hear me? Yeah. You kind of cut in and out a little
Let me
bit.
see if I could log in again.
Having some technical difficulties, if you can't tell.
All right, I hear you now. We back.
Okay. You can hear me now. Good.
All right.
All right. Everyone else in the stream okay? Can you hear everything that's going on?
Can you back it up 1 minute?
One minute? All right.
Off the backs of your work, they're in cahoots with the elite. They're in cahoots.
Are good?
We good. We good.
Okay.
With the government. They want you to think you're important, but in truth, you're just doing their dirty work for them, so stop. They've empowered you in ways that are real. You have an audience, you have platforms, you have the ability to make change. So go against the grain together. They're more afraid of you all together standing up and creating a new culture that's built around family, faith, freedom, doing the right thing, valuing life, than they are of anything else. So I challenge you, use your power to do the right things. If you continue to do the same thing you've done, more rappers like this are going to die. How many have to die before you change the culture? And let me tell you something else. There's a reason the record labels pay us more to do rap videos. They don't tell you that, do they? Do they tell you that they pay us more to do your videos? Because they do. They do it because they know it's more dangerous. They do it because they know it's more difficult, and they do it because, frankly, there's a lot of money laundering involved. Those labels wash a bunch of money through. We don't do it, but we know the labels are doing it 100%. Okay, they're then taking the money off the top end, and you see on your royalty check, oh, they spent $150,000 on this video. Did they? Because we didn't see $150,000. Okay, and to who? Their friend's company? A lot of times that's the case. Same thing with insurance companies. They charge us more to insure your videos. And it's because they know the culture that's been created. They know that the only possibility of a music video being shot up is on a rap video. And that's the truth. So change the culture. You have the power. Your people deserve it. You guys.
And see, that's where I was saying the other day, where these music industry artists or music people take out huge insurance policies on rap artists.
Yeah.
And they don't get paid out to the families. They get paid out to the companies.
Yeah.
Because they know what these rap artists are putting out is more than likely going to get them killed.
Yeah. True.
And
so
because
they know exactly what that life tells me. It's not just the rappers we have to look at. Labels need to be challenged
and held accountable.
They sign on to this stuff. They have to give the okay. They give for this stuff to be put out in the community. Rappers doing it. Rappers are doing it. Labels want them to do.
Mm-hmm.
Are the one.
Because they think they're just going to get a big payday, and that's all it is to them. And they want their voice to be heard, and they think this is how they're going to get famous and get their name out there and everything. But really, all it is just killing them in their communities.
Yeah, yes, it is. That's the goal.
Like this is the new crack epidemic.
Yes, it is. So
hi, Megan.
It shows you that these records they're wicked. These are some, and they don't care much about people. Mag, they don't care much about any and destroy communities.
No. You gotta change your name. You got the same name as me.
I can fix it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame.
And this is what he's saying is, you guys, you have the power to do better. Why aren't you doing better? Use your voice, stand up, say something, and make your communities better by the music you're putting out.
It's true. A lot of them refuse to admit. It's just they keep on saying the music doesn't lyrics, and I'm like, you think there's much money on you when they know the very power of? They're not wasting their time. Oh, they know what you guys are doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. So New York.
Sweet.
Who you guys?
I'll be voting tomorrow.
Voting for, as far as governor. In the back.
Well, definitely
right now.
Definitely not Hochul. Anybody but Hochul.
Hochul just wants to take all your guns away. She's determined to be in New York.
That's it, Lee Zeldin.
At least
he's the one that's going up against Hochul. Yep.
There was a There was a debate. He's a Republican.
Yeah. And he actually wants to repeal the New York Safe Act.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the best thing that ever happened in New York, to be
because
quite honest.
Criminals, they just benefit from it.
Yeah.
Suffering.
You're disarming legal citizens. That's all it is.
Shame
and
on them.
empowering them to do what they do.
Yeah. It's evil.
So.
All right. What else?
But all right. So next video up. Oh, Megan, you're just in time for a good one. You're gonna love this. Army drill sergeants are no longer allowed to scream at the recruits.
Oh, I keep getting the feeling that the Army's getting soft! My drill sergeant sense is tingling, but that can only mean one thing. The United States Army is trying to stop drill sergeants from screaming so much. What? Oh, shh. Let me tell you something about screaming. Grows the economy.
Benefits everybody. Hurts nobody.
Military.com put out an article where they talked to some high-ranking, highfalutin tootin' Joes and a drill sergeant, and guess what the consensus is? Screaming, yelling, talking loudly. Loud noises! It's gonna be done. They don't want drill sergeants to scream no more. It's ineffective. It hurts everybody's feelings. And it's not necessary. Wow. Military.com and those involved in this article, how about we read it, we go through it a little bit, and we break down some of the, I'm sure, gems of knowledge, the jewels that you are bestowing upon us, me, a lowly drill sergeant, on my screaming. We shouldn't do no more. Less screaming, more weightlifting. The Army is reinventing basic training for Gen Z. Already off to a fantastic start, because what I want to do as somebody that's training others, getting ready for combat, is change everything that I'm doing, specifically just for a bunch of dummies that don't want to do the things I want to tell them to do. Oh, I don't want to do that thing. I'm not on your level yet. Oh, well, let me change myself, trainee. Let me change myself for you, the person who doesn't know fuck about shit. Army drill sergeants who model themselves on R. Lee Ermey's ruthless Marine Corps drill instructor in Full Metal Jacket are on their way out the door.
Let me see your war face.
Is it because we want to get out because shit's not going the way it's supposed to be? Or because you're forcing us out because you want to make some drastic change for no fucking reason? Those non-commissioned officers have for generations been a new recruit's first real introduction to the Army, and they have famously been known to scream, curse, and physically punish trainees. But Army planners are hoping that instead of the stereotypical screaming drill sergeants in round brown hats, the new crop of NCOs will act more like strict football coaches.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Are these people for real?
Yeah. This is an actual thing.
You got to be trolling.
No, they're not trolling.
Which ever died from screaming? Record of how many soldiers end up with serious mental illness from screaming.
I got screamed at most of my life as a kid. I don't know.
The Army. Are we trying to make men with integrity and strength enemies? Are we trying to create what's a good word?
Pansies?
That's
like,
all part of
for real.
the woke. I think that's all part of all of it. That's all.
Seriously.
permeating everywhere.
It really is. It so really is. Like, it is so absurd. I mean, when the second time around when I was in, they actually had things called stress cards.
Okay.
And if a drill sergeant started getting on a recruit about something and the recruit held up the stress card, this drill sergeant had to turn around and walk away. It's taking the power away from the drill sergeant to do his job, to teach the trainee what they needed to know, and giving the power to the trainee to basically bully the drill sergeant into doing what they want.
Crazy to me.
Now,
They
I
wanted
have
to
what's
match
called
all the
essential.
other. Megan said they wanted to mess with the chair force.
Basically, yeah. So, and this boggled my mind. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, honestly. Like, it was like so ridiculous, because I remember one recruit we had who kept using it over and over and over again, and I'm like, eventually I took him off to the side, and I'm like, dude, I have essential tremor disorder. When I get stressed out, I start shaking. I haven't used the stress card once, and you're using it like every 5 seconds. Anytime a drill sergeant looks at you funny. Like, give me a freaking break.
That was a bad idea. That was the beginning.
It was the beginning of the end. Like, and the reason they yell at you is because they have a very short amount of time to instill a lot of knowledge into your mind, into your head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they have to
Just coming.
basically beat that knowledge into your head like a hammer on an anvil. And if they can't do that, then they fail at their job.
Megan said the military is becoming fancy. Yeah, we are
basically
in trouble. Can't go to war. Our soldiers are not ready. So there's no way. Or any other Syrian. There's no way. I don't see it.
It gets worse. Trust me.
Right.
This is going to get worse before it gets better. So
Go ahead.
let's get back to it.
Army planners! Oh, the planners! The people planning all this shit, not the people doing, not me, not the fucking guy doing the shit, but planners, high up in their fucking ivory towers, raining down their little fucking jizz droplets of fucking brain farts for me to change things up when they don't know anything about my job. Have you ever seen a football coach?
You understand me? When we say jump, ha ha, and you think this is the game?
They're not trying to make the walls sweat. They're not throwing trash cans, Command Sergeant Major Scott Beeson says. All that stuff is slowly going away. Oh, okay, Sergeant Major. Yeah, it's all going away. Oh, yeah, let me just check the box on that fucking form that says, yeah, I did my best and everything's going smooth. And, oh, yeah, I didn't throw a fucking trash can at all. I woke up to that every fucking morning for 10 weeks. And look at me. I came out just fine. You show me a basic training company that doesn't have drill sergeants yelling or throwing shit to make a point, and I will show you the most undisciplined bags of crap ever to get pushed out of BCT.
He is so right.
And that is precisely the point. And that is exactly the point. You, you do stuff like this, and they will be so undisciplined as soon as they get under fire. They're out. They're done. They're gonna bail.
Yeah.
Any stressful situation, they're not gonna know how to handle it. That's what the whole point of basic training is. That's the whole point of yelling. It was bad enough they got rid of. Well, you'll see later in the video, but I'm not going to elaborate on that. You'll see what I'm talking about. He elaborates on it.
Okay.
He has a whole nother video about it too. But
Wow.
like basic training is essentially a stress test to see whether or not you're combat effective. And if you can't handle basic training, how are you supposed to handle combat? Exactly, Megan. Be productive under stress.
That's the goal. But I would like to know how that there's something wrong with this. Look at all the vocology, hopium that comes with this stuff. Just part of it. You know, we got all these to the army to be soft, and I think they're changing the whole culture in there. You know that I sent to you of these soldiers. I mean, I was like, who we sending out there to fight our battles? Why are we are in nations? So like they're laughing. It's like you guys. So I mean, it's just sad.
It goes back to that one video we watched where it showed the difference between recruiting videos. You know, I mean, freaking Russians and Chinese are just laughing at us. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's that old adage. It's actually not so old. It's more of a new adage of everything woke touches it turns to crap.
Everything they touch is don't touch anything because they're in some of this stuff, and I think this election is gonna solve some of this stuff. Is good. That stuff we flushed out.
It froze. Let's just give him a second to come back. Right, Megan? See what Megan said? He's having connection issues. That looks good.
I'm back. Sorry.
No worries.
Sorry.
Megan says big tech doesn't like you.
I know they don't. I gotta send you guys. I'm gonna put a post of big tech. They were asking like a demographic. It's called a creator demographic. I'm like, a creator demographic? What in the world do you care about? But they kind of, and it was all based on kind of like where do you stand when it comes to LGBT?
They're definitely asking
And
the
their
wrong
goal
person for that
is that
information.
YouTube is more inclusive, and your content seems to pattern and agreement with the inclusivity stuff that's going on with the woke culture.
What about our content seems to agree with that?
Yeah. I laughed, and I took some pictures of the screen. I'm gonna put it on my thing, and I'm gonna be post because I'm like, these guys are silly. Like, so I'm like, I can see why this is how this is gonna work. By the time you answer all of their questions, you find
It's going
yourself
to
in a
determine whether or
box
not you get
where
canceled.
they can say,
Yep.
so and so has, yeah.
Whether or not you get
they
pushed
can
up
follow
in the
your content,
algorithm.
follow your content more closely. They can say, this video, this YouTuber has these views about that.
And it paints
So
a
we
target on your
need to
back.
keep a close eye on them because they can't follow every YouTuber. They don't have enough staff to keep an eye on that. So they can program their little robots to listen to you more closely based on the demographic perspective as a YouTuber. You see, I'm like, I ain't playing that game with y'all.
Yep.
I don't trust big tech. I'll use your platform
No,
to share my
neither do I.
gospel, to connect with my friends. But I don't trust you. You guys are trust.
Hence why in case most
to
people in chat don't know, I don't trust big tech, hence why I don't show
dig
my
into
face
my
and I
life.
don't use my real
I don't
name.
trust you. You guys are up to no good. I'm on strike for the most system. Yeah, no, I agree. That's what they do with TikTok. TikTok's sick. Once you put out your corrupt coding it, that's why. Yeah, but I go online and I put something. I got suspended on TikTok the other day for 7 days. I think I just got a TikTok prison of Mr. Trend. I said, give me a. No good.
All right, back to the video.
If you had a tracker and every single one of those fucking trainees that got shat out of that fucking company and then pushed out into the fucking military, those little trackers would be like beep 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 beep, kicked out of the army, shitbird, failed PT test 2 weeks in, love to know the fucking percentage of dropouts that are in that group. I bet you it's higher than the rest. What's next? I can't have them stand in line in the chow hall and fucking scoot to hurry up that fucking process. Oh, because we gotta give them a half an hour to digest because their little tummy tum-tums might get a little upset, huh? Huh, Sergeant Major? Woo! The shift follows substantial changes in the Army's physical training. While recruits may have to endure less screaming at boot camp, the new training has effectively made the fitness and marksmanship requirements for recruits more demanding. More demanding, they say! What happened to the leg tuck? If it's so demanding, why'd we get rid of the leg tuck? Bunch of pansies couldn't even touch their knees to their elbows? Sounds like more of changing the standard because they can't pass it instead of keeping the standard the same and just getting a new crop of Joes that can actually meet it. The loud and brutal drill sergeant was seen as a way to toughen up fresh recruits and prepare them for the harsh realities of war. From the jungles of Vietnam to the post-9/11 battlefields of Afghanistan and Iraq. But that thinking is changing, and many in the service believe a less harsh approach may actually be more effective with recruits.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
This is precisely the backwards thinking that is going to get our troops killed. Plain and simple. We need that harsh training, like he said.
Yes. You don't have
I
a bunch of
mean,
softies in the field.
yeah. If it wasn't for that harsh training that I received during basic training, I wouldn't have made it through what I did.
Of course.
Like, that mentally prepared me for the things I saw and witnessed and had to go through. So, you know what? Everything they're saying in this article is complete and utter crap. Point blank. That's all there is to it. I don't know where they're getting this from.
How did they come to the conclusion to make this change? Question, because it's just not true. It's just so not true.
This is what happens when you give an entire generation of kids participation trophies.
That's the problem, especially when you know that they did not perform. And that's just crazy to me. You didn't do good. Better luck next time. Doing that.
Exactly. You know,
children, I'm like,
they don't know how to lose.
We're creating little. They have to accept being out of life.
Yeah, that's what Megan said.
Something bad. When something bad happens, they're gonna be able to deal with the stress. They're not used to hardship. That's not good.
No, it does nobody any good. They're gonna crack under the first gunshot that goes over their head. I mean, you hear a bullet whiz over your head for the first time. That's really unnerving.
It's not funny.
Or you see, or you see literally see a bullet. It's almost. I remember driving in a convoy, and a bullet hit the windshield of the vehicle I was driving, and it was almost like in slow motion. Like I saw the deformation of the bullet into the windshield.
Wow.
And if the windshield wasn't made of what it was made of, I wouldn't be here talking to you today.
That's crazy.
But on the other hand, if it wasn't for my training, I wouldn't have been able to continue driving and make it through that. I would have just freaked out and probably driven off the road or something.
Yeah.
Morning. Hey, Andrea. How you doing? Oh, they're not just dumbing it down. They're turning them into a bunch of sissy pansies. Drill sergeants aren't allowed to be yelling at the recruits no more. So you yelling at your kids is worse than what the military's getting. Yeah, exactly, Megan. Like old school veterans. Yeah, right. Like old school veterans like Megan and I are going to be more prepared in the end times than most citizens or even, modern veterans. Because they're not going to know how to handle themselves.
That's crazy. We're in trouble, Dr. Vader.
Yes, we are. Back to it.
Many believe, quantify many for me. Huh? And for those of you that don't know what quantify means, that means give me a fucking number of exactly the many people that are saying this. What is it? What, 10? 10 field grade officers. I bet you didn't go to Fort Benning or Fort Leonard Wood and talk to a bunch of infantry or engineer drill sergeants. I bet you didn't go to any active component infantry units, engineer units, any combat arms from Fort Sill, artillerymen, etc., and ask those active duty fucking units. I bet if you asked them, should the drill sergeant stop screaming, you'd be laughed out of their fucking headquarters.
FYI, Fort Leonard Wood is where I did my second round of basic training. I just want to give a shout out to Fort Leonard Wood here because, you know, he mentioned it in the video.
Okay. The naysayers who we were initially fighting against didn't believe this new way of doing things. Say it ain't so. Beeson said, gentler isn't the right way to say it. It's just dignity and respect. People desire structure, and we're trying to give it to them. We're just not being assholes when we're doing it. They haven't earned anything yet! They haven't done anything! They haven't even learned the Army values that had respect in it! Have you ever read the Army training manual regarding trainees and how we're supposed to treat them? AR-350-6? I bet you haven't. I bet you haven't. Because that fucking trade-off manual ties our gosh dang hands behind our backs enough already that now we can't even scream at them. Oh God, heaven forbid we scream at them. I might just lose my fucking rank. You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like you should train them. It sounds like you're reaping all the benefits of me busting my fucking hump to send you quality soldiers, and you're like, well, if these quality guys don't want to be yelled at anymore, I think I should listen to them, and I'll tell the drill sergeants to stop yelling at them. You're sitting in a good position because the blood, sweat, and tears I'm fucking dripping out here, training dummies to be like, yes sir, roger that, Sergeant Major Parade, run salute, and now you're like, well, let's fuck that up. Let's fuck that all up. This generation is very intuitive, Major General John Klein, commander of CIMT, said in an interview with military.com. I think they can see whether somebody is authentic or not. So if drill sergeants are putting on some sort of facade, they'll see right through it. Facade? Do you think that we get respect just because we fucking scream at people? Are you high? Are you freaking high? We get respect! And they listen to us because every day we wake up and show them the amount of knowledge and professionalism we have while executing our military tasks to perfection. In 2020, the Army got rid of the so-called shark attack. So-called. Every fucking troop from Vietnam until now knows exactly what a shark attack is. So don't you dare play it off as some sort of flimsy afterthought hazing thing that some people might have seen or done. You better put some respect on that. Staff Sergeant Chris Osborne, a drill sergeant at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, was named U.S. Army's 2022 Drill Sergeant of the Year. Osborne said she was initially too aggressive with recruits and quickly found out they were turned off by the approach.
Okay.
See, that's the problem. It's crazy.
To give you a quick rundown of what a shark attack is. Recruits, when they first get there, they get into processing. They go through processing where they are issued their uniforms, they go through their physicals, you know, any dental records, all that stuff, and their shots and their haircut and all that good stuff. Once that's done, then they get shipped to their first basic training unit. Once they get to their basic training unit and they get off the bus, that's when everything breaks loose. If you know what I mean. Because you got a drill sergeant on the bus yelling at you to get your butt off the bus, get your stuff, get off the bus. Then you got a drill sergeant at the door of the bus yelling at you to get moving into the field. Then you got drill sergeants in the field yelling at you, telling you what to do while you're in the field. This is the shark attack.
Well, what's wrong with that?
And they want you to do all this stuff very quick, very fast, and precisely. and
But
they're
even if it's
constantly yelling at
children,
you to get you to do it. And
that is.
the thing is, you got to remember, these are mostly kids from like high school age that have never had this kind of discipline in their life.
Mm,
So this is their first shot or their first time experiencing any kind of structured discipline in their life. So,
yeah,
I mean, this is a huge moment for them.
yeah. I think if they can handle some yelling, the war.
Exactly.
Simple as that. Yeah, it's very sad.
So, I mean, when I was in, one person in our company would screw up and they would smoke us all night in CBD gear, where we'd be running back and forth doing flippies and CBD gear. Now, CBD gear is chemical biological gear,
Mm,
where it's you have the outer lining, the inner lining, and in between the two is filled with charcoal. It actually, just the gear itself raises your body temperature by 10 degrees. Plus, you have your gas mask, and
mm.
you're just going constantly doing these barrel rolls across this field. And I'll tell you what, that is one of the most exhausting things I've ever had to do. But you know what? I did it. I did it without question, because that's what had to be done. That was what's required of me.
Mm.
And I didn't question it. We eventually caught up with the private that screwed up and, dealt with him, squared him away. But that's another story for another time. But
Yeah.
as you're going along through this, you're in this thing that just putting it on raises your body temperature 10 degrees. Now you're exercising in it. That just
Mm.
increases your body temperature. You're sweating to death. All you want to do is just drink water. I mean, it's like pure torment. It's pure torture. But that's what it feels like. But I'll tell you what, you've never had a better night's sleep after that.
It, it, it serves a purpose. Yeah. Yeah. Megan said she was not allowed hours. Uh, let me read. It said when I got there, yelled fuss, haircut, uniforms issued on for the first 48 hours. That is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
that sounds very. That's what I used to. That's what I see in the movies.
yeah, it's pretty standard. So that's just to give you a basic simplification overview of what the shark attack is. Where, they have you basically go through, check all your gear, make sure you have everything you're supposed to, stuff it all back in the bag in a proper order, and then hold it over your head and make you do push-ups or burpees or whatever the case may be. Different drill sergeants do different things. And basically it's to physically and mentally prepare you for what you're about to experience.
That's right. That just simply makes sense. I don't see anything wrong.
But
Even in life
a
itself.
couple of years,
That type of trainings.
I don't know if it was last year or a couple of years ago, they did away with it. They said that was no longer allowed to be a thing.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's, and he has a whole video on that as well. But in the meantime, Back to the video.
That one doing.
The aggression, screaming, yelling, the excessive physical punishments, they're not receptive to that at all, Osborne told military.com. Not receptive to that at all? There is a Army value called integrity, drill sergeant, and I think you just shit all over that one. I myself have been brutal when called for to some of these trainees, but it wasn't my choice. They chose that. They didn't want to be smart. They wanted to be strong. They didn't want to be on time. They wanted to be late. They chose their path to success and or failure, and there I was to maintain the standard as you were. And if you're relying too much on yelling, then I don't know how the fuck you became Drill Sergeant of the Year. If you are not using every moment of physical corrective action to then educate those trainees, then you are slipping, Drill Sergeant, because every time that there's corrective action, there is education with it.
Proper thing to do when a drill sergeant freaking talking to you. You understand, brother?
In that correction, we create discipline and we create education. Discipline, education, two sides of the same coin, Drill. I was a lot harsher my first couple of cycles because that's all I knew, and I finally realized that wasn't working. These trainees are not listening to me. They're not getting better, Osborne said. If they're not doing what I want them to do, that's when I had to tone it down. Tone it down and not yelling all together at trainees are two separate things. And guess what, Drill? I'm sure that you had a kill hat like me that is over there sweating in the corner, ready to destroy some souls when those trainees don't listen to you. Oh, you're the quiet drill sergeant. You're the teacher now. You're following and swinging all along with peaceful generosity until you need me. And then there I am to be the bad guy. So don't act like you're all alone in this and that nobody was screaming at troops when you had the bad guy just waiting to get leashed like a pit bull on a fucking collar, just chucking, waiting to fucking pounce. Now I'm sure you're sitting there and saying, but hey, Drill, is this a big deal? Yes, it is my duty to stand at the gates of basic training and defend them from useless training, bullshit doctrine, useless feelings, articles, and changes, corrupting and weakening the necessary difficulties of our training. And let me finish with this. My guys, I and those that I trained didn't fail in Afghanistan. Those with stars on their collars and in between their chevrons and rockers did. They failed. They let it happen. Not the troops that I trained that stacked tens of thousands of enemy personnel, bodies as high as the fucking sky. Not the ones saving, training Afghanis left and right, as well as their fellow soldiers and those that laid down beside them from other countries. Those troops that we trained didn't fail, so don't ask us to change. Still here to the end, huh? You might want to think about subscribing or hitting the like button. Let everybody know that you liked the video. And if you want to support the channel, check out angry-cops.com where you can get a shirt or some cool stickers. Support the channel. Or go to my Patreon. Giving daily uploads to let you know what's going on here. What I'm thinking in my big old beautiful brain. Alright. See you next time, weirdos. Sounds like you love breakfast, but you don't want to figure out how the sausage is made. Well, I'm out here grinding these turds into fucking meat. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, he's wild. He's wild. He's got a sense of humor. The whole.
Yeah.
While telling you the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, he does, and that's the beauty of him. That's one reason why I like his channel is, not only does he keep up to date on what's going on in the military and stuff like that, and that's kind of a subject that is close to my heart, but it's like he does it with a bit of a sense of humor and levity when called for, but he gets serious when it's called for. And that's the thing about drill sergeants is yes, they can be serious, but they're not always serious. There are times when drill sergeants do tone it down and are like, look, guys, we're here busting your balls, but it's for a reason, and here's the reason. And,
I was gonna say there's they don't hate you, they just trying to get there's version that you can be in difficulty and challenges.
Yeah,
Risk here. We can't play.
and
They can't play with.
I remember specifically one time our drill sergeant had our entire platoon in the barracks where we were exercising indoors because one person messed up, and after a sweat session, basically the idea is they call it make it rain, and they exercise you until and they close the door and crank the heat, and you exercise until it gets so humid in there it starts raining, basically, essentially dripping water from the ceiling. And once that's done, he opened the door, turned off the heat, and he sat down and he's like, look, there's a reason we're doing this. Because the majority of you, once you leave AIT and get done with your training, you're going straight into a war zone. And you need to be prepared for that. It's not because we're trying to be jerks. It's not because we're trying to be, ridiculous with you. It's because you need to be prepared for what you're about to face.
That's right.
And he went through and he's like, who has this MOS? Who has this MOS? And people were raising their hands, and he's like, those of you who have your hand raised are most definitely going over there. He didn't list my MOS, and he asked, what's your MOS? And I'm like, 88 Mike. He's like, oh, you're most definitely going over there. And I'm like, I kind of figured, drill sergeant. It's like I was expecting that.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I mean, and that's the thing is with the way they're shaping it up today, it's just they're not going to be prepared.
It's going to be very difficult for them situation to even be able to fight against the enemy too.
No, not at all. All right.
Very sad.
So
I put a verse in there. I'm gonna read it. So here it says, let me find it. Yeah, it says, "My brethren, all joy when you enter into diverse temptations. Faith worketh patience. Let patience have her perfect and entire, wanting nothing." So, and even the Bible tells you, right? And you can even add tribulation, even when it hurts for the all. That eventually today. So even from like suffering and trials and that stuff, it's not a bad, Christians, we benefit from those. But so for them to do obviously, like, they don't want the best for the best for our soldiers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Wow.
All right. So let's move on to JP. Let's see what JP has to say about the midterm elections.
evening and welcome to tonight's propaganda brought to you by Our Panic. The midterm elections are coming up on Tuesday and polling is predicting a major red wave. Not good for the New World Order, might be good for you, but who cares about you? Now, despite big tech's transparent collusion to censor false narratives around the midterm elections, which is all of them but ours, and our relentless devotion to manipulating your mind, you peasant citizens seem to be thinking for yourselves, so it's not looking good for us. But can we save our communist takeover that we call a democracy, or will actual democracy win big? Well, we're not giving up yet. So tonight we're bringing you a special midterm election rundown on all the key races. Spoiler alert, vote blue no matter who. Let's dive in. Probably the most entertaining race to watch in all the midterms is Fetterman vs. Oz for the Senate seat in Pennsylvania. The race is neck and non-existent neck. Oz is a physician and former talk show host. Fetterman's credentials include looking like what would happen if a tumor had sex with a hoodie. And that's what it's still doing. Now for Pennsylvanians, if you want to end inflation, then Fetterman's your guy. Here's what he had to say about what's causing inflation.
What do you think the biggest cause of inflation is? And should the Biden administration be doing more?
No, I just do. I think that simply is also, let's talk about the trillions in massive tax cuts to the corporate tax structure as well. True. Trillions of dollars that have added to the deficit. And now they still want to support those as well. True. I think in terms of being very serious about addressing inflation is making sure that those rates are brought back into a line with what they should have been, where they're able to fight the deficit.
A true economics genius with an understanding like that about what's causing inflation.
Listen. Okay, so I see out of the street, Fetterman. All right, people like I don't know. Earlier today, and I had to tell people if I know the this airplane is blind, will I get on board the plane? And some people took an issue with that statement. Y'all can say whatever you want. Very well that John's not well mentally. He's just had a stroke, trying to recover from that. If you want to put him in a position in this mental condition, you're not getting on board with that.
Right.
But
yeah, I mean, he's pretty much, it's the same situation with Biden. Why would you do that to a person?
It's just not fair. It's not fair to the family.
No,
it's not fair to the country. And they make this stuff political. There's not a man who is not able to do the job. He says, don't you hear his answer? Don't you hear?
Yeah, and then you had the debate where he's like, I support fracking. I support fracking. That's all he could say.
Yeah, what was that about? Like,
right, he couldn't give an explanation as to why he switched his opinion.
Yeah, I think that's all he said. And I was like, what? I became passion
like,
for people
what the heck?
who was going through stuff. There's no way you can be in a position like having these mental issues, like, and we're supposed to just ignore it all, just vote Democrat no matter what. But hey, what JP says.
Especially when you're working 12, 16-hour days.
Yeah. How about that? To top it for responsibility that goes along with that job. It's just that we close our eyes culture today. It's like they keep denying everything that do. And very, very, very but saying stuff like, you know, is that a woman? Stop lying to the people. Like, there's no surgeries you can do that what God has done. But we live telling ourselves the fact, what? Like, don't you know very gonna happen to you in a few years from now? But then again, when we vote that stuff in, that you can't. There's barely something positive. Oh, that's so. Romans, who? Like medical care. Medical care for what? In the, you're not gonna get my vote. My mind. In a position, you know something is wrong. Just tell it like it is. You don't have to be. Something is not right with the man, because this is for someone that they can, you know, it's easier to control the man when he, you know, he's not able to. The powers that be can simply use him for what he can push back, either mentally, and it could be used. It's obvious. That's kind of what they want.
Like JP said, he looked like a tumor had sex with a hoodie.
Tells the truth. At least we have to. We lying by saying that it might sound and have our likes and dislikes when it comes up. You know, that's one thing we. Let's continue.
You can be certain that he has an equally well thought out idea on how to fix inflation. And when likely voters for Dr. Oz have been asked, what makes you likely to vote for Dr. Oz? The most common answer has been, he's at least not Fetterman. Now, as the most trusted, persistent pest in your life, in my expert political opinion, this Senate race should not be decided by a vote. This one is beyond that. I think the only way to decide it is they should give Dr. Oz a mission. If he can medically cure all that's wrong with Fetterman, then he gets the Senate seat. But if he can't do it, then the Senate seat goes to Fetterman. It's the only fair way to do it. And moving along to Utah. Incumbent Republican Senator Mike Lee is being challenged by Democrat Evan McMullin, who is running as an independent. In a move to bring more honesty to how voters are deceived, McMullin is endorsed by the Democratic Party of Utah. He's paid $1.6 million to Democratic firms for running his campaign.
You see that? McMullin's campaign has paid out $1.6 million to the Dems firms, despite calling himself an independent. That's crazy. But yet running as an independent.
Leaning Democrat.
Yeah. I'm like, no, you're not independent. You're a Democrat hiding as an independent.
And uses a Democratic fundraising platform. Now, what's happening here certainly isn't a leftist politician who realizes that voters are awake to the destructive results that leftist policies have created, and therefore don't want to vote for someone who will simply make things worse, and then labels himself an independent to try to trick voters into thinking he's someone who he's not. Yeah, it's definitely not that. And the reality surrounding McMullin can easily be explained by understanding that it's probably something else. Mike Lee, on the other hand, is transparently running as a Republican, and therefore can't be trusted. He's got the crazy idea of wanting to rein in the power of the federal government, limiting it only to the responsibilities specified in the US Constitution. And trust us, that's not good, because it would make it very challenging for a tyrannical regime to function. Why isn't the whole Constitution being censored yet? Furthermore, Senator Mike Lee believes big tech should not be able to censor and control the speech of Americans, and he unconstitutionally believes that the Constitution unlocks human potential. Well, not if McMullen has anything to say about it. But despite McMullen leading the way in deception, he's unfortunately not leading the way in the polls, with one poll showing Senator Mike Lee leading by 10 points.
If this doesn't give you hope, I don't know what does.
Man.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
People
yeah,
are waking up, man.
I have lots.
Like, this is just amazing.
Yeah, I have lots of hope listening to this.
Like, people are waking up all over. And they're starting to realize
that it doesn't work. They're just tired of it. It's gonna be a red wave coming a mile away.
I dare say red tsunami. And they aren't gonna like it.
Created it. They've created it.
Yeah.
It's at least so radical that the people that were Democrat, the choice but to become Republican over to the right, and it's like the stuff the Democrats used to speak about. It's like Republicans are not talking about them. They're talking a whole different language now, and we like language over there. We don't go there. So it's like well, it's just, it's not like party. The party have left the people. That's what's happening here.
Yeah. The people haven't left the party left the people.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it is people are finally starting to wake up and realize that. Unfortunately, they still have a lot of people that are asleep to the fact. Like, they still have a lot of young people that are bamboozled to the fact that they don't understand this stuff is what it is. You know?
Yeah.
A lot of people get bamboozled.
It's crazy. Ooh, it's sad. It's sad.
So, people of Utah, put down your skis, and if you have any dead relatives, tell them to get out and vote for Independent Evan McMullen. The Democratic Industrial Complex will thank you for it. And what's happening in Arizona? Well, in the Arizona governor's race, Katie Hobbs is clearly leading the way as she is down in the polls by 11%. Under Republican candidate Kyrie Lake. Running on a pro-virtue signaling about diversity platform, Hobbs is well respected for her strong stance against racism. She's so against racism that she's committed it. And in fact, she hasn't just committed it, she's been convicted of it. Twice. Katie Hobbs has a strong track record of being convicted of racial discrimination in the workplace. But in the lawsuits she's lost, at least she didn't have to pay for the damages. Arizona taxpayers did. So when it comes to racism, nobody will be better at ending it than someone who commits it. Hobbs is your gal. Kyrie Lake, on the other hand, seems completely unwilling to be racist and instead wants to bring Arizona secure borders, keeping fentanyl and dangerous criminals out of the state and country. She wants to protect children from being indoctrinated into dangerous ideologies at school, and she wants to preserve and protect constitutional rights. Barf. Though the polls aren't in her favor, if Hobbs proves to have strong enough dominion to defy the polls and win the ticket, then she can stop dodging debates and hiding from voters out of fear of them finding out about her policies, because then she'll be able to just implement them. And in New York, the governor's race is closer than expected, with sitting governor Kathy Hochul from the Cuomo regime, barely edging out Republican challenger Lee Zeldin in many of the polls. And some of the polls are showing Zeldin starting to pull ahead. In an apparent attempt to support Zeldin's campaign, in an announcement last week, Hochul urged parents to remask their toddlers. She added that children are more socialized to the idea of wearing a mask anyways. Makes sense. New York has been among the top states that people are fleeing from, probably because they want to move to states with more draconian restrictions and less rights. If Hochul manages to stay in office, she'll possibly be able to reverse that trend. And in Texas, the governor race seems to be all but over, with incumbent Governor Greg Abbott pounding the human incarnation of soy, Beto O'Rourke, into submission. And in addition to being a fan of stripping for children, Beto also wants to strip Texans of gun rights, which happens to be the #1 thing not to tell Texan voters. Can't believe it's not working for him. You might remember Beto from last spring when, following the tragic shooting at UConn, he made the strategic decision to interrupt a press conference Governor Abbott was giving to grieving family members and grieving community members in order to politicize the tragedy for his own gain. Take a look.
Sir, you're out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Please leave this auditorium. I can't believe you're a sick son of a bitch that would come to a deal like this to make a political issue.
I remember.
His strategy.
You don't have to. Back it all the way up. It's just it was doing a grieving a period, a lot of questions on their minds, and the entire meeting to violence and hate for ARP. This was not very inconsiderate. And
yeah, I mean, it was probably one of the worst things he could have done is trying to be a candidate for governor.
Yeah, at least in that city, have that position, knowing where they stand when it comes to their guns, man.
Not just that, but just the fact that, that wasn't the time. There's a time and place to, try to rally support for your cause. And that wasn't it.
Was escorted out of the building as he should.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like maybe
I don't see any way for this guy. I don't see how that's gonna happen.
No. Never let a good tragedy go to waste is, I think, or never let a good disaster go to waste is, I think, their policy.
Yeah, a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah. And when he tried it, it really, I think, backfired on him big time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was just a huge mistake on his part.
I hope he learned a lesson from that. Let's not do that again.
Yeah, I hope he asks for forgiveness from a lot of people for that, because he needs to.
Yeah, that one.
He needs a lot of repentance for that one.
No. Repent. Kingdom of God is at hand. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. The video. You can play the video.
Strategy worked masterfully to make the unlikable candidate even less likable, which for some reason kind of works for us. Nonetheless, if Beto and his high levels of estrogen can somehow get into office, He would be the first Texan governor to also hold the state record for lowest bench press. And in the race for Georgia governor, it's looking good for current governor, Republican Brian Kemp, as he leads conspiracy theorist Stacey Abrams by 8 points in recent polls. Stacey Abrams won favor with Americans when she recently drew on her strong body of scientific knowledge to claim that fetal heartbeats aren't real. Have a listen.
There is no such thing as a heartbeat at 6 weeks. It is a manufactured sound designed to convince people that men have the right to take control of a woman's body away from them.
I like how her mind works. She thinks fetal heartbeats are a conspiracy theory? She puts me to shame. I'm just over here thinking the earth is flat, space is fake, birds aren't real because they're obviously CIA robots, but she thinks heartbeats are fake?
A minute, I'm you, but it's crazy.
No,
Crazy
she legitimately said that on a stage in an auditorium full of people.
No, nobody booed. Nothing.
Nope. No, nothing.
We're
Like,
listening. She's not crazy. The people are crazy. I get it. All right, we can move on. Say something like this publicly.
Are there no mothers in the crowd? Like, hello?
This woman said, "Hey, it's a conspiracy to."
Yeah.
I didn't get this idea that is wrong. Is a from these people are delusional. That's just basic. Have that. Get this thinking from. I mean, it's sad.
But yet, this is the party of follow the science. It's basic biology.
Yeah, until the science goes against them. If follow agrees with what I believe, yeah.
As long as it agrees with our narrative, it's okay.
And we are sitting. Use or a joke. And you're not gonna get.
Oh my word!
Sorry, I cannot mute it. You can go ahead.
Defy the odds and get Abrams into office, they'll also undoubtedly have all their economic concerns put to rest, as Abrams is the first person in the history of the world to conclude that abortion is a viable way to solve inflation. Godspeed, Georgia. And in traditionally psychotic blue Oregon, Republican candidate Christine Dresden is surprisingly putting the heat on Democrat Tina Kotek, who's the former House Speaker of Oregon. During the campaign, Kotek has faced major criticisms for the rising crime rate in Oregon, which I don't understand. They defunded the police, so how could this be happening? But the Oregon plot thickens, with former state senator Betsy Johnson running as an independent in the race. She appears to be gaining support from would-be Democrat voters, which strengthens the Republican Dresden's chances. Right now, the polls are showing a toss-up, which is alarming because Oregon is typically considered an easy win for Democrats. It's almost like people are waking up to the realities of the Democrat Party. I think we'll be able to get them to go back to sleep. However, what you need to know is...
No. Once people wake up, it's really hard to get them to go back to sleep. Have you ever had a kid?
Yeah. Problem. They don't realize that they're thinking about things, you know? Keep pushing their narrative is like the most, like what they're trying to do to Kyrie is like, okay, you push that for now, or really asking. It's like the Democratic Party, the more they push this stuff that concerning to people, is the more people are gonna find out why you're doing this, of making decisions against your party. And they don't understand how the human mind, because I think they don't care. They believe the woke. I didn't, you know. For Stacey Abrams, she should go sit down in a corner. You just defy science. And I don't understand. It doesn't shock me, of course, and hosted her. I mean, anywhere the money is. So it doesn't shock me at all. So it's a big joke. It's like thinking about.
It's a big joke to half of these people.
Mm-hmm. I don't think they really want to win. I think they're really trying to lose. There must be something else. Do you want to win? Or you just want to lose? Because you talk like a person who wants to lose. Same things that a winner would be saying. They want to win. I think they intentionally try to. What it looks like to me. Because at least you will change your narrative. You know, they're still saying defund. Talking about abortion is a woman's right. Abortion is that's why not get people to vote. Abortion is not the worst Americans are concerned with. 6 on the list or something like that. I'm not sure. 3 or 5% of Americans. Like, people are thinking about real issues. That's what I'm thinking, man.
Like inflation, gas prices, putting food on the table, paying rent. Like, those are the main concerns of most Americans. Hello?
Yeah, man. And faith and freedom, man. That's it. Those 3 things, we are happily having. Politics is.
Like it's like they're so out of touch with the common everyday American that they just don't understand. They think they're above it all. And it's like that's the difference between Republican and Democrat. Republicans are getting down in the dirt and trying to figure out what is it that people are concerned about and actually touching on those issues.
But they,
like, for example, in New York,
they're ignoring everything. They're ignoring everything.
Yeah, and like in New York, Lee he vowed that if he gets a governorship, he's going to repeal the New York SAFE Act, which for decades has hindered New York's gun ownership. You know, I mean,
attention.
He's listening to what the people want.
Yeah, what they should be doing. That's how they should.
So, and that's how you win a gubernatorial race.
Cool, guys. It's not that difficult.
I'm going to continue.
To be men. Them even trying to run for office is damaging to women's rights. And in Florida, Charlie Crist doesn't even seem to have a hope in hell of defeating Governor DeSantis. Our smear campaigns on him apparently don't work. They kind of do the opposite. But we'll keep trying. Moving along to Michigan. Sitting Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who appears to be with the Communist Party, holds about an 8-point polling lead over Republican challenger Tudor Dixon. If we knew what a woman is, we would say that Gretchen Whitmer is the female version of Gavin Newsom, who is always lovingly admired when he's surrounded by mirrors. But Governor Whitmer has faced strong criticism over the past couple years over her harsh lockdown policies that helped protect Michigan residents from freedom. And her policies worked. We can accurately say that no one died from freedom during her reign. And recently, in an uninteresting turn of events, in support of Whitmer, former president and probably current president Barack Obama came out to campaign for her. During the Obama rally, the biggest takeaway for voters was getting to see Obama have a minor meltdown when people in the crowd broke out into an FJB chant. Early polling suggests that Obama probably agrees with her sentiment. That's it for a midterm election special mind manipulation report. Remember the feeling of emotional coercion that intimidates you into voting blue no matter who, and keep in mind how we label anyone who doesn't a dangerous extremist. You don't want to be one of those, now do you? Happy voting, as long as you vote the way we want you to. Good night!
JP, man.
But I mean, he makes good points.
Yeah.
Like, I
What
mean,
he is saying or exactly what they do. He is not lying.
Yeah.
Oh, the ridiculous.
For real.
I can't handle it anymore. It's just too much. It's dirty business, man.
I didn't know that, Megan. Check this one out.
Let me see. Hearing the federal judge after domestic violence with his demeanor and then executed her. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Because of the cashless bail
guy,
system.
Yeah. Some changes in those policies in New York. They just can't. They can't have the people at the same time. They need to make some serious.
They really need to get rid of the cashless bail system. That was one of the worst things they ever did.
How did they come? I mean, how did that even pass? I need to do some wonder. What's the history behind?
Honestly, I have no idea. That was one of those bills that they snuck by in the middle of the night under Cuomo. That kind of went under everybody's radar. And we woke up the next morning and found out that, there's cashless bail and they just let the criminals out now? What the heck is this? And now we're not allowed to, defend ourselves? Wait, what?
That's business because it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. So the next one we have is, oh dear. Okay. Time to see if I can keep my dinner down. We're going to go to The View with Anne Hathaway.
I just caught up to that. So, sorry. Try.
Apparently, abortion can be another word for mercy.
Yeah.
According to Anne Hathaway on The View.
Anne Hathaway, yeah. I forget that name. Yeah, I would like to hear the context. What she asked that.
I don't want to hear anything any of them have to say on The View. All right, here we go.
The Devil Wears Prada did turn 16 this summer. Yes. The time flies, boy. So you wrote this on Instagram, quote, "I am struck by the fact that the young female characters in this movie built their lives and careers in a country that honored their right to have choice over their own reproductive health. See you in the fight." So why did you write that? Why was it important to you to write something like that?
Because we're in the fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're in the fight every day. We're in the fight every minute. And you mentioned The Devil Wears Prada turning sweet 16.
Yeah.
Some 16-year-old's life has been irrevocably changed because of the current overturning of Roe v. Wade. And in this character, I played a young woman who was starting out.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to pause it here. Then why don't you teach them good morals? Teach them to keep their legs closed.
I know I don't like to address problems where you're talking about like
That's the easy solution.
16-year-old suddenly, haphazardly got pregnant. How it happens? We're not talking about 1% now. We're talking about really under. But it's like you need to tell them to protect themselves. Young men need to be addressed too. Trying to make laws to that is morally wrong. Get it from the how did this happen? It is, and address that to perpetuate leading to this. No, that's not even. It's evil.
Yeah.
These people are crazy.
Number one, you teach a girl to keep her legs closed, and you teach your boys to respect women.
That's a serious solution right there. Teach them that marriage is important. Good folks, they often tired. So it's not just in some of this stuff, but you also have in their movies stuff going on. Kids are watching. I'm gonna try it too. You end up with a belly. People are making money.
Oh my goodness!
But you ain't ready to live with.
Like I said before,
you want to make laws to. I don't know why.
Like I said before, there's so many decisions that have led up to the making of a baby that you can make prior to that at any point you could have stopped. But no, instead, you decided to go through with it. You could have stopped it at any point, knowing full well what the intentions were, what the consequences were. But no, you decided to follow through. Now live with with the actions
we have to
of
sympathize. We sympathize. I sympathize. No. What I have.
I sympathize.
To do better.
I sympathize to a point. And when I say I sympathize to a point, I sympathize with. I feel for you. I understand, and I will help you as much as I can after the fact. But if you do something to harm that child within you, I'm done. I will no longer have any sympathy for you. Because in my eyes, you're a murderer.
I listened to an NPR recently. It's still available. They were promoting. They didn't show it live. They were asking the girl a question. I mean, and they even had that stuff. We can go look at it. NPR abortion, and they were talking in a positive. That stuff go suction a little bit, baby, and you say you're helping women. I got it.
Sometimes it's not even a little baby. Sometimes it could survive outside on its own. And actually, Roque, no, it's not from married couples. It's usually from single Black women. That is the highest rate of abortions in the U.S.
Married couple actually have the lowest rate, and you either have a child or an abortion, and that's the missed signals. It's like virtue signaling. They don't act truth. You see those commercials. Oh, I'm gonna have an abortion. Like married abortion. Most people that are married keep a child. Like you said,
or if
all the
for adoption
people. That's the truth. Is the numbers the worst, and being
Pastor, you there? Nope, we lost him. Give us a minute. He'll be back. His signal cut out on him. But yeah, I mean, like, statistically speaking, it's mainly single black mothers that are getting abortions in inner cities and stuff like that. And that's what Planned Parenthood was intended to do. At least that's what it was founded on. There you go.
Sorry. Can you hear me okay, Darth Vader?
Yeah, you're back.
I'm not hearing you. You hear me?
Yeah, you're back. Can you hear me? Sorry, folks. We're having some technical difficulties tonight. We're trying to work out the bugs. And you know what, Megan? I give her all the credit in the world for that. That your sister is a brave woman. Kudos to her.
Yeah. Hello?
Hello. Can you hear us now? Sound check. 1, 2. I can hear you. Okay. Yep. All right. I guess we're going to continue. No sound on the video. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay?
And you're going to go to bed? Hello? You're still not
Hello.
hearing anything?
Can you hear me okay? Okay. They hear me.
Okay. I see what's going on.
Okay. Unmute the. Okay. The video got muted. I don't know how that happened. All right. I got it. Well, thanks for stopping by, Roque.
video with some music on for you.
I see you. Oh, okay. Hello? Check, sound check, 1, 2.
All right.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Are you able to hear me?
Okay, so this is a one-way connection.
Yeah, I can't hear him, but he hears me okay. I'm trying to figure out why is my mic not coming through. I need to go.
I don't think it's your mic. I think it's your headset.
I'm coming. Edit name, change your avatar, change video setting, front back camera. Oh, okay. You could hear us, but I can't hear you guys. Okay. Can you try to play a video? See if the video will come through.
Just, it had just happened, and I think about it all the time. I think we all think about it all the time, and what its implications are, and what it means to live in a country that.
All right. Let me back it up.
Did you guys hear that?
This is an interesting situation. Okay.
Did you guys hear that time, DK? Cool.
Echo definition. Noise. All right.
Welcome to the technical difficulty stream.
All right. Thank you, DK.
So this is the technical difficulty stream where we try to sort out things live on air.
Yeah. All right, we back.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, you can continue.
We shall continue.
That puts us in this position. Again.
Do I need to back up a little bit?
Yes. Can you tell me?
Just, it had just happened, and I think about it all the time. I think we all think about it all the time, and what its implications are, and what it means to live in a country that puts us in this position. Again.
Yeah.
Again. And so if I were to play that role nowadays, I couldn't take that for granted. I couldn't take that freedom for granted, the freedom of choice. And by the way, this is not a moral conversation about abortion.
Right.
This is a practical conversation about women's rights. And by the way, human rights, because women's rights are human rights. And
Okay, first off, what rights? There are no rights in the Constitution to let you have an abortion. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say women shall be allowed the right to have an abortion.
Good point. Good point.
It's not a right.
It has nothing to do
You have
with
the
the right.
right to bear arms. You have the right to free speech. You have to.
Yeah, I don't know how they come to the conclusion that this is a woman's right. I don't know where that actually comes from, because you have a right to actually get rid of your child anytime you want to.
No. Like, you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
There we go.
Life being number one. Life,
That's
number
a
one
right.
on the list, is a
Yeah,
right.
that child. You have to understand, you can have rights, but your rights cannot trump somebody else's except a life and death situation. Because how
Exactly.
is that a right? The baby doesn't have a thought to exist. Like, where did these people get this thinking stuff from?
Your rights don't trump somebody else's rights, period. You both have the same rights. And it's not your body, it's somebody else's body that happens to be inside you at the time.
Well,
that'd be like that would be like saying, okay, during the implementation of becoming pregnant, a woman would have the right to kill a man because he's inside her.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good way to put it. That, oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, never thought about that one before, did you?
I didn't. It's so true. But it also makes sense why taking advantage of this narrative. And they're saying, if you have the right to get rid of the child because you don't, how come I, as a man, don't have a right to say, I didn't want the child. You said you're gonna have this baby, and I want nothing to do with this little guy, which is not right. And they're saying I should support because I didn't want the child. You chose that. So any responsibility. In other words, what they're saying, if the woman has the right to keep the child, the man should also have the right. And I think that's actually makes sense. Because
why don't men have the right to keep the child?
Yeah, how come you have a choice to get rid of the child if you want to, but the man right not to want the child if he doesn't want to? How does that?
If you have the right to abort a baby, men should be able to have the right to abandon a baby.
Say I'm signing off.
I wash my hands of this. I'm not paying child support. Forget it. I'm done.
Yeah. It makes sense. But the government gave them so much power. Like, they have the right to kill, to maintain the law, has to simply surrender. Surrender to the woman's right.
And then hold men by the cojones for freaking 18 to 21 years of that child's lives until they're of age while they get child support.
That is not a good system. That is a bad. I don't respect that system. I have no respect for it. I know there are some men who the only way you're going to get them to pay anything is by going through the system. But there's a lot of men in the system, and I have no respect for that. That's not okay.
And there's a lot of men in the system that shouldn't be in the system.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of men that would love to have rights to their kids and, have custody of their kids.
They're not
because of
even
the
allowed
fact
to
that
do
the
that.
mother is a complete piece of crap.
Yeah,
But you know what? That doesn't happen. The system
it
is specifically
doesn't matter.
rigged against men.
Yeah, it is set up for the
And I'm
women to be
sorry if I
successful.
seem very passionate about this, but I've been through this. I know this system inside and out. I had to go through it with my 2 kids, and the system was rigged against me. My wife lost custody of the kids to me, went to 3 one-hour parenting classes, and got the custody of the kids back. How is that fair?
And that is corrupt. It's corrupt.
How is that fair?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I had to pay her their Social Security each because I was on disability at the time. She got their Social Security, which was $600 a month in child support.
Make it make sense, God. Makes no sense whatsoever.
I'm sorry. But
I know.
I get fired up on this topic. I'm sorry. It just
because you've been through it physically, so you heads on, so you know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I've had work with people where on like they had, that was bad choices. They had like 3 baby mamas, and were sucking something from their checks out. I was like, that's just crazy to me. And these women, they just chilling. There's a new thing in the NBA now. I'm not sure if you know about it. It's been pushed. Go out with NBA stars or football player, and when they know the guy will try to get rid of the condom, but what these girls will do, they'll go condom, and you know what they do with that, right?
They turn the condom inside out and stuff it up inside them.
That's right, and they get pregnant. Actually, coaches have been counseling the players to make out anything that's in your condom. I mean, I know that's strong language for those of you who are listening, but that's just what's happening. Or laying with these guys in the hope of getting pregnant, because once you are pregnant, who is rich? You rich. Because the child support system, so much money according to how much money the person is making, not according to what the child is in. More like, hey, he's rich. You paying $100,000? Kidding me? Like this is what we're talking about. And I'm like, no, that's not okay. And imagine if a girl got 2 of those.
So
she can retire.
Get this, okay? I was watching a video the other day, and you remember the guy who fought to stop his son from having
yes,
being transgender in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching a speech that he was given, and he was talking about how the courts in Texas actually get a 6% kickback on child support.
Yes.
So
yes,
they specifically target the men, especially wealthy men, to give custody to the mothers, cut the men out of their children's lives, and so that the state can generate revenue through child support.
And that a mess.
This generates millions of dollars a year for them in revenue.
Should have never allowed the government inside of our homes. We should have never allowed them inside of our families' business in there.
No. That's why
messed up.
And that's one of the big things about, like, someday I want to do a review on it, is the 21 Club. They go over that. Yeah, they're good. How we should go back to traditional marriage, where it's between man, woman, and God, not man, woman, God, and government.
Nope, the government out of there, because it's like if there's an issue, There is like I believe if we kick the government out of our marriages, we can get it's actually 52% now of divorces rate, and it's not any different for the church. You have this level. In other words, one out of two people, at least one out of two marriages will fail. For that, it's not just because bad things happen in the home. It's that, that as soon as these women separated from government comes in and take the place, and they're incentivized this. Like these women, they can get more help, more health care, more this, more that. The welfare into play to assist with all that stuff, and then it just pushes the men away to like go to counseling, talk about it. Let's see what our difference are, what we can do better. Maybe he could find help. He could go out there and try to deal with whatever issues he had before he can come. It's like as soon as something happens in the marriage, the government steps in and make a whole bunch of suffering and pain. That's wickedness. They're not trying to say, what can we do to save them? No, that's not what it is. It just pushes them over the edge.
It's daddy government.
Yeah, daddy government. Yeah,
and women unfortunately fall into the trap and they get stuck there.
Yeah, but now a lot of them are realizing, at least from the Black community, we speak of absentee fathers. Fatherlessness is the number one issue in this culture. You almost trace all your gang violence to fatherlessness. You can almost trace all of it. You can trace it right back to fatherlessness. So we kick the fathers out of the home. Okay, so the broken, the structure is wide open, and the devil is having his way.
Fatherless and godlessness. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, fatherless and godlessness. Majority of your men all have an issue with fatherlessness. They all suffer from that. Majority of yeah. And some of them say, I wish. Some of them wish they had a father, and fathers are very significant. It's not everything. Some mothers do exceptionally well, not having to actively present, because we have those horrible fathers. They exist, but if we didn't kick all the fathers out at the rate that we are doing right now, especially coming from blacks, of most 70% of young men are not without a father in the Black community. Like,
but that's the thing is if a man and a woman get married before having kids, the woman actually has an effect on the man that she tempers him.
Yeah, that's another thing.
And brings a balance to him that he wouldn't otherwise have. And that's why God made us the way we are. As a pair. That's how it's meant to be.
Yeah. It works better that way.
And without that, it's an imbalance. And if you look around you, all nature is about balance. And that's how God intended it to be. So if you take the father out, or if you take, like, say, these LGBTQ people and put a woman with a woman and try to raise a baby, there's a huge imbalance there.
Yeah.
Or if you try to put Big Daddy government in place of a real father, that's a huge imbalance. Yeah. So, I mean, without an actual father being present in the household, you're not going to come out with a well-balanced person.
Child. Yeah. And that's what we look at. All your LGBT stuff, all your violence, all your gang-related stuff, you can fatherlessness. And a lot of poverty emerges from that. A lot of drug addict and addiction and everything was sourced from that. Big problem.
Yeah.
So we gotta kick the government out. We gotta kick them out of the business.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the
Yeah,
video.
go ahead.
Ugh. I get how much more of this we got left?
I have to unmute it. I can unmute it from my end and back it up
Okay.
a little bit.
I didn't know it got muted. Okay, you got.
Is good now.
Women's rights are human rights, and the freedom that we all need to be able to choose and build our lives and have access to excellent health care.
Okay, you have access to
what
care. What abortion isn't health care. It's murder.
Yeah. Did you notice how she
I'm sorry, you broke up there.
just back it up. Just back it up.
And the freedom that we all need to be able to choose and build our lives and have access to excellent health care.
There we go. You see, the freedom that we just choose to build our lives. You see right there? I'm not sure how you know the word that she picked at that moment, the difference in the way the crowd would respond. It's very intelligent.
Choice of words.
Though.
No, that's a poor choice of words.
You know she was lying. Because she's saying the way we build our lives. It's not because truly that's not what it's about. It's about promiscuity. It's about having with my body. And
it's about choices. It's about the choices you make. And taking personal responsibility for those choices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. You can. It's just crazy that diabolical how that was very intentional.
Hi, Debbie. Sorry. Yeah, it's just like it dumbfounds me how they think this is even remotely close to actual health care. Like, health care is, your body, your heart, your lungs, your digestive system, your circulatory system. It's not whether or not you can get an abortion. That's not health care. Unless your life is in danger.
That's correct.
That's not health care.
Yeah, because it's not a natural cause. It's the same argument that people have when cosmetic surgeries and so on. It's like you can't count that as part of health care. I want to get my whatever it is you want to done. Yeah, you have to pay money for that. For example, it's the same argument you find in the LGBT community. They're saying it's healthcare, like children, genitals.
Mm-hmm.
How is that healthcare? Because there was nothing wrong with you. It's not a natural cause. This is a desire, an emotion that you are having, and you want that.
A mental disorder.
It's a mental disorder.
A mental disorder.
And that's why they're coming out in droves now saying, we messed up. As you guys this. We were speaking from the rooftop. Many Republicans were speaking against this. And now I'm like, should I say I told you so? Because
Amen.
We're not being insensitive here, but we're saying,
we've been saying this for years.
We've been saying it for years. You give us nasty names. It's the same thing with C-19. Thing is going to result in this. And now you're asking for a C-19. Let's all forgive each other. Happy go lucky. No. We can't do that.
Ain't happening. No. No.
Because we have to
No.
We have to go to the root of the problem, because guess what's gonna happen? A couple years from now, you're gonna do it again.
You're just gonna do the same thing over again.
Yeah. You're gonna all over because we history. And that's the problem. You wanna
those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Yes, they are. Yeah. And like they say, the only thing people ever learn from history. So I can't. We can't just sit back and just ask, knowing what you've done. You've shut down our accounts. You've striked some of our channels to go. You want forgiveness for your sins? No, go to God. We'll forgive you, but we're not gonna forget what you did.
Amen. All right, let's continue.
Personal experience with abortion, and I don't think we talk about this enough. Abortion can be another word for mercy. We don't know. We don't know. It's not a world in which we know that no two pregnancies are alike, and it follows that no two lives are alike. That follows that no two conceptions are alike. Yep. So how can we have a law? How can we have a point of view on this that says we must treat everything the same? And where I come at it from is when you allow for choice, you allow for flexibility, which is what we need in order to be human. So that anyway, I just wanted to...
Okay, you are allowed for choice. You're allowed for the choice to do what you do prior to getting pregnant. Hello, are we forgetting about those choices that you have to make to become pregnant in the first place? I mean, out of all the abortions that are performed, like 0.001% are in the cases of incest or rape. That includes both categories. So, as far as I'm concerned, you make your choices prior to getting pregnant, whether you like it or not. This is, you are trying to excuse somebody from having to take personal responsibility for their actions after the choices have been made. And this is what pisses me off about the entire abortion debate.
It has no accountability behind it. It just, again, going back to incentivize evil. They refuse to realize this. The reason there is an abortion on the table is because to do something that resulted in pregnancy, you got to go back there. Because if you refuse to cut twigs and branches, you're never gonna get my vote, no respect. No, it's wrong. That's
You
an
have
act of
to
mercy.
go back to the root of the problem.
How did mercy comes into the act? For the child or for the mother? Who gets the mercy here? Who gets the mercy? Boarding a child, an act of mercy. And I'm like, yo,
That's insane. That is the most insane and idiotic thing I've heard
tomorrow morning
today.
you can have it. Yeah, that's a 2 minutes video, and it flips the whole entire live stream upside down.
Like, that just hurt my head. Like,
I'm sorry,
I mean,
I didn't mean to set you off like that.
Well, I mean, this whole thing is just so stupid. It's like, and the whole abortion argument is so disingenuous to what the real issue is.
No, they don't really want to talk about the real issue. And if you notice how they speak, they advocate a lot for the mother, which is fine because the mother matters. But is talk about the act that the mother is carrying out in order for her to call autonomy, bodily autonomy. But what about the child?
What about her bodily? What about her bodily autonomy before she got pregnant?
That's a good point. Let's talk about that.
But that's where it starts. She had bodily autonomy before the act of getting pregnant.
Yeah, they are so dishonest. That's the one that throws me off. I'm like, You are dishonest. That's the same thing I was telling you about the black community. Talking about, oh, so and so died. Rest in peace, brother. Draws a little bit of liquor on somebody's grave. You go to the same drug, the same gang. I mean, infest.
You just go through the same motions over and over again and expect different results. Isn't that, as I recall, the definition of insanity?
Yeah, it's repulsive.
Yeah, Megan.
You can
I understand life-saving procedures for pregnancies is definitely different from actual abortion. I get that. I've had friends that have had to go through that, and it was very detrimental for them. But that's a whole nother category in and of itself. We're not talking about situations like that. We're talking about situations where there's no threat to the mother's life. There's no threat to the baby's life. Everything's honky-dory, and it just gets done anyway. That can be the definition according to Oxford Dictionary, but according to most that advocate for this, that's not their definition of an abortion. Some people have advocated for abortion up to and including after birth. I mean, look at the guy, the governor of Virginia, who's like, well, they'll make sure the baby's born and comfortable, and then the mother and doctor will have a discussion about what to do next as to whether or not the baby should be terminated or kept. Yeah, that was an actual thing that he said on a radio station.
That tells you how they really feel told that.
Exactly. And how disingenuous this is.
It is how anybody can rightfully support that.
So, just saying. Anyway,
I think
let's finish
I think
this.
this is done.
We're good?
I don't think of it. Yeah, I think we're done with that. That's enough talk.
So next one we have is we want to just move on to the last one.
Yeah, let's move on to the last one. That's fine.
All right. We're going to end on a good note here. From the Babylon Bee, episode 4 of Californians Moving to Texas.
Yeah.
Is this it?
GPS doesn't lie.
Hey, howdy, hey, come on over.
What is this place?
Gun range? I asked you guys if you wanted to go shooting at the range.
I thought you meant shooting like pics for my Insta.
What did you think range meant?
Oh, I thought like home on the range where the deer and the antelope play.
Well, there's no deer here. Except for that guy. Come on, this guy too. You should try this. Oh, yeah. Well, let's get started.
No, we don't like guns, remember? I can't have you turning into some sort of crazy gun nut. This is not good for our marriage.
We've been seeing a marriage counselor. She says my texification is unfair to Timpani. So
You found a marriage counselor in Texas who uses the word texification?
She's in Austin.
That makes sense.
If you guys are anti-gun like you say you are, wouldn't it be better if you could speak from a place of experience?
yes. I mean, it's okay. It's cool. Whatever. No biggie.
Well, I do suppose it would be good to say that I've shot a gun so I know how bad it is.
Now listen, I've got some good stuff for you. All right, come on over here. Come on.
Ladies first.
Hey, can we get these guys started with a couple of Glock 17s? Can you hook us up? And here's your eyes, and here's your ears.
Safety gear. That seems very responsible.
Oh yeah, gun safety is the most important thing. Okay, let's head on in. I'll show you guys the ropes. Always keep your firearm pointed in a safe direction. Always assume it's loaded, which we now refer to as the Alec Baldwin rule. And never walk downrange until all...
Okay, the Alec Baldwin rule. That's hilarious. Just gonna say.
Sorry, let me mute it. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Good?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I caught up to that. I said, oh, that's messed up.
It's messed up, but it's
Yeah,
freaking funny.
It is. Was something in there, right? Yeah. What are the odds? Still do.
All right. Back to it. Go ahead and unmute it.
firearms are laid on the table with the actions open.
I don't get some of those words, but that also sounds very responsible.
What, did you think we were just going to run around here and shoot the guns off everywhere like a bunch of crazy gun nuts?
No. I would never call you a crazy gun nut.
But you did say you didn't want Steve to become a crazy gun nut.
I don't think so. That doesn't sound like me.
No, it sounds just like you.
I heard you say it.
Yeah, he said it.
Let's get jump started.
Is that a fully semi-automatic single hollow point assault machine gun? Is that a 30 magazine clip?
No, that's an 8-bullet round.
That's what it is.
Break yourself, fool!
We don't do that here. All right, all guns on the table. Let's see how we did.
Hey, Steve, I'm pretty impressed over there.
Did I do well?
Well, it looks like you missed every shot. That's quite an accomplishment.
Well, where'd all my bullets go?
We don't know. We only know where they did not go.
That must happen all the time for beginners and all.
No, never seen that before. I'm not even with beginners. I went looking. Timpani, actually, you got all your hits on the paper.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Even some of Steve's hits your paper. That's impressive, Steve. Never seen that before either.
I didn't think it would smell so much.
Oh, that's the gunpowder.
Well, I don't like guns, so I definitely don't like that smell.
Well, all right, folks. You want to go again?
Yes! I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's what
Yeah, it's cool. Well, looks like Steve missed every shot again, but Timpani hit every shot, and there's even a couple in the bullseye this time.
Oh, but Steve, none of your shots hit Timpani's target this time, so you're getting closer.
Wait a
Or
minute.
even further away.
Yes.
Here, hold on. She's been using guns or what?
No, she hasn't. She's never touched a gun before.
Much better, much more than her husband.
It's just her husband's like limp wristing and flinching at the recoil, and she's just right there and got it. And then she turned around and sniffed the gun like a crack addict. Like, yes, give me more.
Yeah, it's crazy. She's enjoying 3 episodes we watched. It seems like she's really...
Yep, she's really fighting hard not to become Texan, and all of a sudden now she's like, oh yeah.
A rush from this thing. All right, good.
Heck, nabbit!
What do you said dag nabbit. That's something.
It has to be on. I'm sorry. Can you turn the volume back up and unmute it?
Okay.
You have to a little bit and unmute it.
Okay.
It's right on this. Okay.
I got it.
I really thought I was getting the hang of this Texas thing.
Well, you said dag nabbit. That's something.
It is. You know, handguns are the hardest ones to shoot accurately. You guys want to try some ARs? I guess we can give it a try.
Let's do it!
Nabbit. Missed them all again. Well, Temp, you should be relieved. There's no way I'm going to become a gun nut now.
Good. These AR-15s are just wrong. There's no reason that anyone should have a need to own one of these things. But if one were to buy one, where would be the best place to do that? So kind of good as that.
It's a price gun.
Hey, Babylon B fans, I have a big announcement.
That was a nice one.
Nice little pellet cleanser.
That was beautiful. Yeah. Wow. It's been great. You leave in Texas,
So, yeah. Thank God for Texas.
That was great.
Well, Megan, you may not have to wait too long, because if we can get Lee Zeldin in, you don't have to leave.
Yeah. You're right. Is he up a number of points now?
Yeah, as Megan was saying earlier, he's up in the polls, or up in the voting, so.
I mean, I didn't watch their debate, but I'm more she Co or something. What?
Hochul.
What could she possibly be? I mean, what are her plans? Much that was impressive to me, from what I've heard.
Nothing. Like, she wants to continue to ban more guns. She wants to pressure more anti-gun legislation. She wants to push for more bail reform. All that crap.
No, theory.
Yeah.
Just more ideology, more restriction. Okay. And we want. Yeah, thank you so much, man. You ran the live stream today. I
do what I can.
realize I appreciate. Actually, I have a MacBook at the house, so I'm like, oh, so yeah, I'm gonna work. I mean, it's pretty brand new. I just don't even for the house. Nobody would use it, so.
Right.
Some things there.
Sorry if it seemed a little rough today, folks. I'm new at this, so.
Yeah, you did great, man. You did great. Not easy.
And I don't have two monitors, so.
say he likes his guy.
Yeah, we like them up here in New York too, so you know.
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Especially where I live in the backwoods.
Yeah. That's right. You don't have to be a Texan to love in a. Yeah. There's a place for it.
I agree, Megan.
I agree. There's a place for it. Well, for one, Darth Vader, I can close up with it since I prayed last time. Yeah, I got some computer issues that I'm dealing with, guys. Because it's a little crazy. So the computer needs to go see a doctor.
All right. So let's all have a word of prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We come before you tonight and ask that everyone in chat who has a request that needs anything, we bring those burdens to you. And we ask that you take care of those. And we ask that Pastor, you be with him and his family and bring blessings upon them and help him with his computer problems so that they will quickly be resolved so that things may run smoother in the future. We also ask for those who just prayer requests. May not know them all by name. You do. We're all knowing and everything. And we
Amen.
bring these before your feet. Thank you for your many blessings upon us.
Yes.
And this we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for praying. Thank you for live streaming this whole thing for us.
You're welcome.
It was a blessing.
I hope.
Have a good one, everyone.
Hope everybody enjoyed it.
Got friend DK. Good night.
Good night.
All right, Darth Vader. Yes, sir. Bye.